Hello everybody, my name is Michael and I am the lead developer for Jurassic Explorer at Dimensional Digital. Today we are here with two of my very talented team members, Bernard and River. Introduce yourselves.
My name is Bernard. I focus mostly on music, but I also assist with sound effects and any other really sound design for the game.
And I'm River, and I focus on programming and getting everything working.
So, if you guys already don't know, Jurassic Explorer is a fan project that we built back last year and we released in November of 2017. And basically what it is it lets you explore an accurate 3D recreation of the park from Jurassic World. So you can explore Main Street and different attractions and locations and see some dinosaurs, and it's really cool, and we put in a lot of love and effort into the first season. But now we're back in 2018 and we are nearly finished with the development of what we call Season 2, which is going to be kind of the next step, the next expansion, adding new features and areas and stuff like that. So we're going to talk a bit about that today. So starting off, in Season 1 we had 5 locations that you could explore, which was Main Street, T-Rex Kingdom, Innovation Center, I-Rex Paddock, Mosasaurus Arena. In Season 2 we're going to add even more locations than we had in Season 1, which is really fun. We're not going to reveal all of them here today, but we are going to discuss a few of the key ones that are really the focus of Season 2, and they're really a big part. So, starting off, there's the Gyrosphere Valley, which is just, it's an incredible scene. It's like this huge open valley where you'll actually be able to explore the valley in first person in a gyrosphere, or in third person in a gyrosphere. There's dinosaurs everywhere, they're roaming around, they're stomping and making noise, and it's so cool. Do you guys want to talk a bit about how that's been to develop, and like, especially with the music and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's interesting because, especially from my Season 1, I came in kind of late on the game. There was a need for certain music that had to be fulfilled, and whereas with this run, with Season 2, I had ideas for Season 1 that we didn't get to explore. I had things that I had wanted to do and ideas that I kind of had. It was kind of close to my heart because that was the first thing we delved into for Season 2, was to write the music for what is in essence an open world experience for you to explore the Gyrosphere Valley and just have really exciting music, but not afraid to have a little grandeur to it and beauty to it, but still keep you kind of wanting to roll around. So that was kind of awesome because that's the first thing I got to work on with that and really develop what that sounds like, you know, for you to be able to spend your time in the area and it's still exciting, still beautiful, but not get too monotonous.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As you said, that was the first track we actually started writing for Season 2, and like, what a track to start with. It was just absolutely incredible. You did a great job on that. And I'm really excited for people to hear the tracks because we've really spent, just like in Season 1, but I think even more so in Season 2, we spent an incredible amount of time discussing back and forth how things should play, what type of feelings that they should evoke, and returning melodies from the first season and like re-establishing them, and it's been really fun. So I hope people enjoy the music. But the Gyrosphere Valley was a really fun musical project as well. And River, you did the programming for the gyrosphere to get it actually moving and functioning as a real thing. So what was that like for you?
Yes, just like Bernard, I also came in kind of late on Season 1. And so there were a ton of things that I was like, this could be so cool with this project, that could be so cool. But there just wasn't time for Season 1. And the gyrosphere was for me also one of the first things I started programming for Season 2. It is unlike most other vehicles in that it doesn't have 4 wheels to drive on. So it was really a challenge to kind of figure out how to program something that it still has to move in a similar way that it does in the movie. And, you know, it has to feel the same way as when. So it was really challenging trying to figure out how that should work.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. As you said, like, I think we used some sort of physics-based system where the ball like will spin and roll, and
Yes.
it'll slow down as you stop and stuff like that. So that would have been really challenging to work on. I certainly wouldn't know how to do it, but yeah, that is crazy and kind of interesting that you have to approach it, make a vehicle that doesn't even exist in real life.
For the movie, they just had like this CGI version, and for the actors to sit in was just a ball on four wheels. So we've been, trying to reinvent the wheel basically.
So one new location to season 2 as well, which is highly requested, everybody loves this vehicle, is the monorail. It's the way you enter the park, it's the first step to your journey and your adventure. So it's something I definitely wanted to do since season 1, and I think even Bernard, we've talked about this before during season 1, that we wanted to do the monorail, especially you wanted to do the music, and I'm glad we kind of pushed it and ended up doing it, because it's really turning out to be something special. So with the monorail journey, basically you take a trip to the park gates and then eventually get to the main street, which is really fun. We just kind of had to find a way that we could capture that like magical, exciting feeling that you would feel, going to Jurassic World. Like, it's such a incredible opportunity. So what was that like to write the monorail music for you, Bernard?
Oof. It was something that was on my list for season 1 that I didn't know if it was going to happen. I didn't know how it would happen. And then even doing it for season 2, I know we've had certain unique problems with each area, figuring out how best to do it. One of those things that I thought would be the best way to really embrace, because there's something to really be said about the journey to the location. Like, you think of every one of the Jurassic Park films, there's always that journey to. They don't ever seem to skip that transition from the old world or the world that's not islands and then jump immediately to the island. There's always that transition. I think it's kind of important to really build that suspense and excitement and all of that. So like the music for me was really about getting something that was moving, that could be played in a couple different ways. And then when it came time to really, showcase the Jurassic Explorer melody with the gates, and there's some fun parts about that melody too that I think we'll talk about at another time too. But because that ended up 3 parts, almost as if it was always intended to be those 3 parts, but was not really written with that in mind necessarily, but works really well in those pieces.
Yeah, no, the monorail journey track just came out incredible, and you can actually hear a preview of it on your SoundCloud, right?
Yes. That is one of the tracks that's on there.
Yeah.
We've got the monorail, the new park, not the new park main theme, but in essence, reimagining for season 2 for the park main theme. But yeah, and a couple other.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting, and I can't wait to see the scene be completed, and I can't wait for your guys' reactions as well. So in season 2, we're doing a few new things. One of those new things is we're really focusing more on kind of conveying a little background story. In season 1, Mr. DNA was there and was kind of your park guide, and it was insinuated that he created this simulation of the park, and that's kind of what you're roaming around. But in season 2, we're really showing how that all works and focusing much more on how that comes into play. So with season 2, the whole story is basically Mr. DNA has seen the park from Jurassic World obviously be in ruins and be all broken down and turned into a fallen kingdom. He wants to bring that magic back to people and let them explore the park. So he's made this simulation machine, which is kind of like this golden handmade machine that he made himself, which will simulate the park and let, a guest explorer, and of course you're the guest. So it's a really interesting way to kind of present an explanation to a few things with Jurassic Explorer, and just kind of immerse the player in the feeling that they are visiting a simulated world in their computer that Mr. DNA's created. I think that's really fun. It's one of the very unique things that we're trying in season 2, and I think so far it's really turning out quite well. We've got cutscenes, we have voice acting for Mr. DNA for the first time, which is insane. We got a very talented voice actor, Michael Coy. You should absolutely check out his work. It's just really fun, and it really ties everything together into a cohesive, unique experience. And kind of lets us explore a few things with the character Mr. DNA. Obviously, we saw him in Jurassic Park just as a cartoon, but we kind of, with Jurassic Explorer, thought, if Mr. DNA was a real character, and he wanted to create a simulation of Jurassic World for people to explore, how would that look? You know, how would he act? What type of things would he do? Those are the type of things that we're exploring with Season 2's story, if you can call it a story. It's really turning out quite unique, and it's something that really no other fan-made experience in the Jurassic franchise has ever really done stuff like this. And one of the new things that we're doing that's going to be a very big feature in Season 2 is Mr. DNA's opened up his own shop called the Mr. DNA Emporium. This is a big part of Season 2, and it's really fun. It'll basically let you buy different items and add-ons that will let you customize your park and kind of change the way Main Street looks and let you have some unique customization there and explore it in new ways with items. So we'll dive a bit into that a bit later on in June, but I think that's going to be a really fun system. And River, you're actually developing that system right now. So what's that been like for you?
It is a lot of fun because you can think of all these ways to let players, it's a shop system. So the players have to get a currency in some form. And it's been really fun to kind of figure out, in what way can the players kind of get rewarded for playing the game in a way that isn't just the exploring part, but now also more of a gameplay part. We already had the trophies in Season 1, which you would get as like a reward for exploring the park. But now we can, also in a way give a reward for really playing in the park, and also use that to unlock even more ways to play in the park.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's really fun. I think it's probably the biggest change to from Season 1, and I think it's going to really be a fun system, to let people customize Main Street, to let people, kind of have their own identity and show off their own park. I think that's really fun.
Also, for players, don't worry, there won't be microtransactions.
Yes, no microtransactions. So finally, to end, I just wanted to quickly kind of talk about what our reaction was to what you guys thought of Season 1, because when we released Jurassic Explorer in November, it was just kind of, this passion project that we all had as a small team of developers. But it really kind of blew up, and it really became something much bigger than I ever thought it would be. We've recently nearly on our way to hitting 20,000 downloads on our page, which is just, it's mind-blowing. And I don't know, what was your guys' reactions when you saw Season 1 release?
It was the first time I'd ever done anything of this sort of style. So it was interesting that it wasn't, just a video or a movie that was being put out. Like the videos that people were putting on YouTube of the playthroughs. I think my favorite moments were the music for the original release. In my mind, music written for the IREX being in there. There are moments in it where it really builds intensity and gets pretty scary sounding.
Yeah.
And watching people freak, walking around, and they're spinning in circles, looking around going, where is he, where is he, where is he? Freaking out, convinced something was coming, and then nothing happens, and they're like, is it okay? It was scarier in that sense, because they weren't even sure if they were okay, and then I think my favorite thing is the next part is they go up into the observation area, and as they go to leave, they turn around, there'd be Mr. DNA floating in the corner, and Mr. DNA kind of took on this personality, which I love that with Season 2 we're exploring who he is in a sense and really developing Mr. DNA as not just a thing in the corner, but like it almost took on this personality of like a horror movie, which was really kind of funny to watch. But
I think the funnest thing with seeing all these reactions is that people give these identities to things that you would have never even thought of when developing. You know, like it's interesting how people interpret things. Some can be bad, but some can be really fun. Like it's kind of split between like, do you love Mr. DNA? Do you think he's cute, or are you terrified and you want to run away from him? And I think that's just hilarious, and I kind of think we're finding ways to sort of embrace that in season 2, and as you said, we're really kind of exploring who Mr. DNA is as a character, which is kind of weird because, I mean, he was just a little cartoon for like 5 seconds in Jurassic Park, but I think it's kind of neat to think about if he could bring back a park, if he could run this simulation, how would that look? What would he tell you, and how would he go about that? So I think that's something we're going to explore in season 2. But yeah, I think that's about everything. Jurassic Explorer season 2, we will give some more information in June this year, because June is going to be an insane Jurassic month for everyone. There's of course the new Jurassic World movie, and there's a bunch of games, and we're gonna release all sorts of information in June and tell you when you can expect to play it yourself. So look forward to that. You can follow us on all of our social media. Yeah, I hope you guys are excited for season 2, and I hope you stick with us. Thank you, Bernard and River, for joining me on this interview.
glad to be here.
It's fun.
Awesome.